Okay, welcome back guys. So in this second video I want to show you how to summarize the data that we've just sorted and tidied up a little bit. So we previously sorted this whole data set by the answers to question 1 in alphabetical order. Now what I want you to do is to count how many times the different answers were selected by people. Okay, the order in which we actually asked was from disagree, which is the lowest sort of on the scale, all the way through to agree, which is not in alphabetical order, so we need to rethink a little bit here. But what I'd like you to do is count how many times in this whole data set did people choose disagree. Okay, let's find it in here. There is disagree. Okay, oh, some people misspelled this, so let's tidy that up quickly. You can do that on yours as well, just to make sure your data set is correct. So that's better now. So the easiest way, or the more straightforward way to count when you don't know Excel very well and you don't know how, in what other sort of snazzier ways it can do this, we can count by simply highlighting all of the cells that say a certain thing. So in this case, we want to know how many cells contain the word disagree, and we just highlight them all. And then down here, you get a count of how many times or how many cells that represents. Okay, so 10 cells say the word disagree, so 10 people have chosen that as their answer to question 1. So we can type that up here, and we can then complete this table by looking for the other options that we've given people as well. So going on to slightly disagree, let's find that in our list. That's down here. Slightly agree, slightly disagree. Okay, so if we highlight all of these, we count 18 of those. So I type 18 up here. And what I'd like you to do now is to count the others, and then I'll ask you a couple of questions on the numbers and how many times the different options were chosen. And then we're going to do a chart, and then that is it for the first part of this workshop. So how many times did people choose neither agree nor disagree? Made another typo there. And how many times did people choose slightly agree and agree? Okay, welcome back guys. Hopefully your table looks just like mine, and you found that 36 people chose neither agree nor disagree, 58 chose slightly agree, and 52 chose agree. Now, the other thing that might be interesting, and this is a start of what sort of simple functions Excel can do, is we would like to know how many that is altogether. Now, we could get a calculator out and calculate it that way, but Excel can also do that for us. And the way to do any sort of functions in Excel is to indicate to the program that you're going to insert some sort of calculation by putting equals in here. Okay, so equals indicates that Excel now expects you to put some sort of formula in there. And we could do something along the lines of, I want to know how much this plus, I'm just typing plus on my keyboard, this plus this plus this plus this is. And it's 174. Now, if there was more than 5 cells, that would be a little bit too much work. So Excel can also do functions, and the function for summing things up is called sum. So we can also instead just type sum, and then it appears in the drop-down menu here. This is the function we want to use. If you want to see what other functions Excel has, you can go up to this tab here. We're in Home. And we have this option right here. This sign means sum of. And if you click on that little arrow and you go to more functions, you can see all of the different functions Excel can do. And there's usually a little explanation about what they do as well. In this case, we want just the simple sum function. And if you double click on what's in this drop down menu, it opens up a bracket. And Excel needs that bracket because there you indicate what you want to sum up. Okay, so you've told Excel, I want to sum something up. And then in the brackets, you put the things you want to sum up. And we very simply just highlight all of these cells like we did before, close the bracket, and then if you press enter, it reveals that there are 174 altogether. Okay, so that's the total number of people that have answered the questionnaire. And now there's just one last thing for you to do, which is to create a chart out of this. So a frequency table such as this already summarizes the data that we have quite nicely. So instead of this big long list of the separate answers, we have summarized the data by calculating frequencies of how many times each category occurred in the dataset. Another way of summarizing data is to create charts. And in this case, as I've told you in the lecture, for a single data set with one variable of categorical data, the most simple and best chart to use here would be a pie chart. And in order to make that, we want to highlight the cells that we want in the chart. And that includes the names for the different categories as well as their frequency counts. And then we want to go to Insert, and we want to go to Charts, which is over here. Now Excel has this option for recommended charts, and I see students quite a lot taking advantage of that. However, I wouldn't recommend it because Excel quite often misunderstands the data that we've input there. We've organized it in a different way and it will recommend the wrong thing. You're better off using the chart that you know will represent the data best, and in this case it's a very simple pie chart. We also we can go to the symbol that represents the pie charts. There's all sorts of different ones that you could make. We want to make a very simple 2D pie chart like this, because in science it's important to keep things simple so that we can see the information that is relevant and we're not distracted by unnecessary detail. So we want to use a very simple 2D pie. You just click on it and it creates it there right for you. Okay, later on in the module we're going to learn how to then manipulate these charts, but right now that's the simplest and easiest way of getting the data that we have summarized. Now we've done that here for the answer to question 1. What I want to do in the next video is to combine this information, because we asked each person 2 questions, and we can actually look at the data in a bit more detail by combining these 2 bits of information that we have on people.